So DDG and Halle, okay, the plot has thickened. You hate to see it, okay, or you should hate to see it, and that's kind of going to be the point of this video. Basically, if you're employed, let me give you a bit of a recap as to what happened. Basically, singer Halle Bailey accused DDG, a content creator, of various forms of abuse, that being emotionally abusive, that being physically abusive. She got an emergency restraining order filed on him for these things. She presented some evidence. There were some bruises, a chipped tooth, some text messages with some arguments, it seemed to be. And this split the internet in two, essentially, as it usually does. There were a bunch of people that were quote unquote on the women's side saying, yes, DDG, he must be an abuser. And then there are people on the men's side saying, oh my gosh, this B word is lying. She's like trying to ruin DDG's life. And there were the reasonable people in the middle, that secret third group, where they were like, hey man, this is bad. This is definitely a bad situation, but we definitely don't know. We legitimately have no idea what's going on, okay? But more stuff happened today. But before I get into that, a little bit of self-promo. I stream every day on Twitch, Bryce_Estelle, and a lives account, BR Slides. I'll put both in the description. Anyway, now what seems to have happened is DDG is reversing the allegations, okay? Basically saying that she was abusive towards him and also did a lot of troubling things. Let's take a look. Unfortunately, as I get little on you right here, I get my news from Twitter user Fearbuck. Okay, shout out Fearbuck. This is where I get my news from. But anyway, so here's some stuff right here. DDG has filed an emergency order. Now, mind you, it says emergency order. I know she got an emergency protection order, but this is an emergency order. I don't know the difference between the two, to be real with you. Anyways, DDG has filed an emergency order to stop Halle Bailey from taking their son to Italy for 2 months, alleging she is emotionally unstable, threatened unaliving herself, hit him, tracked him with air tags, withheld their son to control him, and once drove while in this state of wanting to unalive herself with said baby in the car. He's requesting full custody, a ban on international travel to protect the child, third-party custody exchanges, and court-monitored communication. He submitted text, injury photos, and witness statements as evidence. Witness statements. See, something interesting right here is I haven't seen anything about the witness statements. It's very hard for me to find like actual information on this, but I don't know if she provided any witness statement. Now, look, I'm gonna go through more of what's being said, but like, look at these comments. I call BS. She's experiencing postpartum depression. It's not okay to weaponize it, yada, yada. I just want you to see the general vibe of how a lot of people feel in reaction to this. It says here, DDG claims Halle threatened to abort their child if they could not reconcile. Okay, now hold up. Let me click on this right here. This is where it says it. Bro, this is literally so personal. He contacted her OBGYN and he learned that petitioner had attempted to abort the baby but failed to take the second abortion dose. That's why you can't trust him with the pill, fellas. Following this discovery, I spoke to petitioner and asked why. I wish it can't say the petitioner. Anyways, and asked why she would abort our child after we had agreed to co-parent together. Petitioner threatened me by demanding that we reconcile or she would go through with the abortion. This was the most troubling of her attempts to completely control me. Coercively control me is actually what he said. I'm adding in some thoughts here. If this really is the case, and it can be proven in some way, it's not a good look for Shawty, to be real, because then it's like the whole notion of now she's trying to use this kid like to make him feel some sort of way, trying to take custody over the child due to, these allegations. Bro, there's no way I didn't pause just now. But trying to take custody due to these allegations. Like, this all does kind of seem like a ploy. If something like this were to happen from the jump, it would be very on the board that it's all kind of manufactured, I should say. And not even manufactured, the better word would be premeditated. DDG says he never hit Halle like she claims. He says she launched herself from the backseat and hit her head on the steering wheel while trying to punch him. Now, a big thing is that he slammed her head into the steering wheel. That was part of the allegations. Bro, look at them as a couple, bro. He's cheesing, she's grinning. They're holding hands. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Okay, but anyways, let's take a specific read. Talk to her. Petitioner demanded that I talk to her and make a schedule, and then proceeded to strike me from the back seat by launching herself over the center console into the front seat to punch me. As she did, her momentum caused her to hit her head on the steering wheel. At no point did I strike her. In fact, I attempted to shield myself by restraining her arms to prevent further punches. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If this is real, bro, she would have to be insane for this, because you're telling me that you're going from the back seat, jumping to punch, and you don't have enough control over your body to not hit your face on the steering wheel. Like, you know how bad you want that punch to connect? That's kind of crazy. It's to the point where you lose all your balance. And these are the big ones, okay? A bunch of messages where, you can pause and read. I don't know if it's appropriate to say everything in here, but I'm just going to say she's talking about, she found out he was sleeping with someone in Mexico. And when I tell you, bro, these texts look so familiar by dealing with people with, you know, mental illness. I was trying to think of a very appropriate way to say that. But yeah, no, she's like, oh yeah, like I don't want to be alive because of you. Like, bro, that is like their classic line. And there's one, it doesn't show it here, but after this message right here, she says, you can have him and let her be his mom, right? And that's after she's saying she's going to unalive herself. And he's like, oh, I can't believe you're doing this. And she's like, you put your penis inside her in Mexico. Like, swear to God, bro. Like, there's another clip where that's where it says she said that. And I literally just have to say, hold on, let me get big on you. I don't understand why that is like the go-to line for like insane people. Like, y'all know I've been in a bunch of situations where, you know, I'm talking to someone, I start talking to someone else and people are like mad about it. When I tell you that line of you put your penis inside of her is something I've heard many times. And I'm always so amazed. I'm like, why are you saying this? But here's the thing, I don't cheat, right? So it was never that kind of situation. But let's say I did get cheated on, unfortunately. Ooh, I say hit my mic. Say I unfortunately got cheated on. That would suck, right? And then I'm like, he put his penis inside. Like, why would I say that? Like, I don't want to picture that, bro. Like why would I tangibly be like, oh, this is what he did? Like, legitimately, girl I used to talk to on multiple occasions would be like, oh, you put your penis inside her. You asked her where she wanted you to finish and you finished inside. It slipped out and you put it back in. I'm like, bro, like we're on the phone. She's saying this shit to me. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Because here's the thing. If you're that mad at somebody over something, don't engage with them. You know what I mean? Like, don't, like, if I'm ever that mad about something to a person where I feel like I have to keep bringing the shit up, I'm not going to talk to them. Like, I'll simply not be in cahoots. But now, like straight up giving someone a play-by-play is the most ridiculous move, okay? And I mentioned that in a TikTok that I'm probably going to post probably around the time this video comes out or a little bit after. But, like, dude, when I say that's the craziest thing to me, I never got it. Also, horrible speller, okay? Like, she has a lot of spelling mistakes here. And I'm not going to lie, like, I know, like, you're freaking out, but if you can't spell, like, accurate, and bro, all these texts, bro, they were in the course of like 2 minutes. But it's like, if you're so mad that you can't spell, that's really when you need to like take a step back and take a breather. But anyways, okay, as for like what all this means. Oh yeah, and also apparently she stabbed him. There was and there's a picture of him with a wound. But basically, what does this all mean, right? People ask me, they're like, Bryce, did you react to the new DDG evidence? React to the new DDG evidence, because they're mad at me about my last video, where again I was like, hey, the restraining order, not a good sign. Unfortunately for those people, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to disappoint them again, because everything I just showed you, is it more damning than her? I mean, again, like the witness statements is one thing, but like overall, is there anything that's more damning than what she said? Now, mind you, I will say these statements about like her talking about she's going to take her life, you know, and then like involving like the son with it, her like saying these things while she's with the son, that is very problematic. That's a problematic thing. So this is definitely an element, right? But what I mean as far as evidence that he didn't do these things, you know what I mean? And obviously it's, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But my point is, her saying that he slammed her face into the steering wheel versus him saying she tried to punch him and landed on the steering wheel with her teeth. Those are like, that's he said, she said. Like, yes, I understand reading this makes her seem more unstable and makes her seem more like the kind of person who would lie about this in order to do something shiesty. However, I hope for most people, there's a line between, oh my gosh, I'm gonna unalive myself, oh my gosh, come back together with me, or I'm gonna abort this child, versus I'm gonna accuse you of putting hands on me. Like, this is a very sticky situation, because again, this does not seem like a stable person, but it simply isn't enough to be like, oh yeah, she's confirmed lying. You know what I mean? But also, it's not enough to be like, hey, you know, DDG's making all this shit up. You know what I mean? Like, it's much more nuanced than people are allowing it to be. Like, right now, again, reasonable people are going to be in a point where it's like, okay, yeah, they both got these, you know, damning allegations against them. We don't really know what's going on, but the law will decide it. You know, like in the courts, like they'll figure out whatever the fuck went on. And again, personally, like this makes me I'd say this should definitely, you know, hearing one side of the story versus hearing both sides of the stories, it should tip the scale in the favor of the other person. But, you know, you hear one side of the story, they're all the way up here. So now it's kind of just, it is he said, she said. There are things from both of them that make them seem unstable and unreliable. Like, she had the text from him, like, where it's taking pictures of the bed and being like, oh, like, you got this? Oh, wow, this is what you're doing. It was some BS. Like, you know, I hate how some niggas talk, bro. Some niggas just talk. I'm like, bro, like, this is not how you talk. It's like people are just trying to, like, speak like other people now. I hate it. But anyways, the only thing that I think is very interesting, witness statements. and she said that she had a ring light camera that showed proof of what she was talking about. So I would be interested to see/hear how those things play out before I really was like, oh yeah, this is definitely what happened. I feel like a lot of people want both sides to be out and be like, oh yeah, so this means I can come to this conclusion. And honestly, I feel like if you're a responsible thinker, you're not going to be doing that. But let's take a look at the narratives and the agendas, shall we? Not gonna lie, bro, when shit happens, I'm always here for the narratives and as for what actually happened, I don't be caring. Like obviously I hope, and it sucks that like they're in that situation, but bro, I be caring about like what people are trying to like push when it comes to this. Okay, this one I saw earlier was like, first it was believe all victims, now what did DDG do to make her act that way? I had to get big on you again, but that's a narrative I really don't like, because the thing is, if DDG came out first, he was like, this happened, and then the whole Halle thing, like she put hers out as a response, people wouldn't be like, oh well, what did Halle do to make DDG do what he did originally? You know what I mean? And this is not one-sided hypocrisy. Like again, like if DDG were to come out first, no men would be like, oh my gosh, he's just lying because he wants to take the kid, da 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 da. This is what happens when we turn these issues, when it should be society versus abuser, into men versus women. Men get put in these situations where they're accused of something, and men immediately are like, oh my gosh, we have to defend him, we have to do something about this. And then they're automatically on the women's side like, oh my gosh, we automatically have to believe her, we have to like completely like ride for her no matter what. And it's like, I'm seeing other tweets I'll show you later, this evidence, it didn't look good for Halle. And I'll show you. I gotta show you, because the thing is, like, you can tell they think they're making an argument, but they're not making a good argument at all. Okay, basically they're saying DG seems to be unaware of what let me get a little bit littler on you. DG seems to be unaware of what postpartum depression is, which is evident Halle Bailey was experiencing, and he's using that against her in court. Wait. Sorry. Look, trust me. Let me get to the point first, and I'll get some more stuff. Okay, my problem with this stuff right here is what was shown in those text messages and what she's being accused of is not just having the mental illness, like not just wanting to unalive herself. Obviously, I have much sympathy for that, but using it to control DDG. Again, she's being accused of saying that she'd get an abortion unless DDG and her reconciled thing. Like there's a difference between texting someone, hey, I'm thinking about unaliving myself, hey, I'm depressed, blah, 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 and you made me depressed, you ruined my life, you make me want to unalive myself. Those are two completely different groups of texts. So it's like, yes, postpartum depression is a real thing, yes, depression's a real thing, but, and I want to say, I had this conversation with so many people, it's one thing for you to be like, hey, I'm sad, I don't feel well, I'm thinking about taking myself out the game, quite bluntly. But it's another thing for you to point the finger and blame somebody, hey, I want to do this because of you. Those are two completely different things. And depression doesn't make you do that. I've been in plenty of situations where I'm talking to someone while I'm like severely depressed, and thinking about doing the unthinkable. Wait, pause. I had to pause very fast because my key fell out of my pocket. I was like, if I don't look for it instantly, I'm not going to find it. But I found it. But I've been in plenty of situations like that, okay? But I was never forced to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because of you. Oh my gosh, you're the reason that da da da. Even when I was in situations with very shitty people who did not, contribute to my mental health properly, that wasn't anything that I was forced to say. Like if I were to say something like, oh, I'm going to do this because of you, that's manipulative and that is on me. And there's no excuse for that, right? Like you can have your mental illness, but once you start trying to negatively impact other people based off it, that's when it's a problem. So again, I really hate the notion that now, because imagine DDG like just diagnosed depression or something like that, and it might forget like everything about his depression, but say like DDG was just diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and he was texting her like that, and people were like, oh well, he's diagnosed with anxiety and depression. That would never be an excuse. Like that would just never be a thing. You know what I mean? But again, people turn it to this man-woman thing. So anytime something happens, it's okay, how can I defend her? Or hey, how can I defend him? Right? No matter how damning particular kind of evidence is. Now again, that doesn't mean she's lying. Like I want to say that, yes, it kind of is like, okay, if she is a little bit off the deep end in that way, yes, it makes it more believable that she could be lying about something like that, but it's not a guarantee that she's lying. Just like there's no guarantee that DDG's lying. But people are sitting here acting like it's a sure thing. But his motion, this is what I saw earlier, his motion was denied of her not being able to take the child. Now, I feel like people often say, like people are trying to like make this a thing where it's like, oh, yep, he was denied, meaning that like a judge thought he was bullshitting. I think the judge, and again, I don't know, this is my theory, the notion of her not being able to take the child to Italy is that she would be a danger to the child would be in danger. So the motion being denied is not guaranteed that, oh, the judge is like, hey, all this is happening, I don't believe you, I think this is fake. it means I don't believe that she's a danger to the child. And there can be multiple reasons for that, whether that be, these threats, they're not current. She's never threatened to harm. Now, if she threatened to harm the child, and if there's any text where it's like, oh, I'll take Halo out with me, I promise DDG would have Halo like right now. But again, she's like, oh, I'm going to do this to myself. And all the situations, at least that I saw in the text that I saw, were very much regarding DDG, like something he was doing. Now, mind you, again, you can't blame yourself for anybody else's mental health, right? Like that is completely her responsibility. And like I said, I think it's wrong for her to throw that on him. But what I'm saying is if she's not having these, oh my gosh, I'm going to unalive myself moments, oh my gosh, I'm going to do like this crazy stuff moments outside of things that are happening with DDG, I think a judge is much less likely to give him this order, especially considering the fact that he is being accused of DV. Some certain things she was accusing him of was acting recklessly around the child. Again, like I don't think bringing the child on stream, like I feel like people really drag out how bad that is, but like bringing the child on stream, yelling while in the car. Again, and also the real problem, bro, a real problem I should say, is the judge can look at DDG's lifestyle, unfortunately, right? And he can look at DDG's lifestyle and be like, okay, whose lifestyle should a kid be around more, Halle's or DDG's? And just think about the streaming university clips, bro. Like, think about everything DDG was doing. Do you think a judge is gonna be like, okay, yeah, put a child with this man over this woman? I don't think so. Okay, and the situation isn't serious enough on either parts yet, or like at least through evidence presented, to the point where they're like, okay, fuck it, give this child to foster care or give it to a relative. So yes, him getting denied, the motion getting denied, isn't good, right? Like for him, like in his stance. However, it doesn't mean that the judge doesn't believe what's happening. It's just that it's not enough. Like, yes, she threatened to abort the baby, but she didn't threaten to harm the baby, right? Like, again, if she was like, hey, I'm gonna take myself out the game, I'm gonna take the baby with me, it would be in DDG's hands. But the judge doesn't perceive her as a threat to the child. And obviously the child right now, especially when you're like, hey, like, don't do this with the child, that's of paramount importance to the legal process at this point. But again, a DDG's getting these allegations, trying to put it out. I hate the notion where they're like, oh, he's trying to like weaponize her postpartum depression. Like, regardless, the things that she was saying were not okay, right? Like, the things she was saying in those texts, those are not, like, okay things to say to somebody. To be real, like I said, regardless of where your mental state's at. However, of course, the things DDG's being accused of saying and doing aren't okay whatsoever either. But the problem is there are women where they're doing everything they can. They're thinking as hard as they can, okay, how can I defend her? How can I defend her? How can I defend her? And there are men thinking, how can I defend him? How can I defend him? How can I defend him? That they don't understand that this is a situation where obviously, we know neither of these people, so we should just be in the middle. As simple as that. This message right here, Halle could unalive DDG and I'd still stand beside her. And the thing is, this is the problem. And mind you, it's true, right? Like, and people know it's true. That's what they're accusing you. Like, you understand the things men are saying. They're like, oh, you're just going to side with a woman through everything. Like, it doesn't matter what she does. You're going to pick her side every time. And you're literally just confirming it for them. So it's like when you're trying to take this woman's side and be like, okay, I believe her due to this reason, you're watering it down because you're saying stuff like this, right? And you're doing it for all women. Because again, it's become a man versus woman issue. So there's a lot of men where every time they see a woman defend Halle, they're just going to think, oh yeah, like Halle could literally do anything that DDG and these women wouldn't care. And right here says DDG showing Halle's reaction to him mentally and emotionally abusing her while she was pregnant. Because, bro, I'm wondering where they're getting this mentally and emotionally abused from. Now, mind you, again, like that's what he's being accused of, right? So if she's correct, that's what happened. But again, his narrative is that wasn't happening and she's just tweaking out. But again, it's like they're not looking at DDG's story the same way they're looking at Halle's story and vice versa. Now, this is something I literally don't know about. Okay, it says if he was so concerned for Halo's safety, why wouldn't he pick Halo up every time Halle begged him to? I literally don't know anything about this. But again, like if this is true, that's what I'm saying. It's like more so, hey, I'm being accused of this thing, but you're also fucked up too in this way. You're trying to fuck things up with me and my son. I'm going to fuck things up for you and our son, right? And again, I feel like that, like reasoning like this, if this is true, is part of the reason he didn't get the order. And look, DDG defenders are brainless. All those texts tell me is he's manipulative and a cheater. And the things, I showed you the text. How is that manipulative? Bro, she was spam. Like, bro, he had like 4 text bubbles that entire conversation. Like, see how we're just dragging it. And last time, again, like you can look at the last video. Last time, DDG fans were dragging. They're like, oh, like literally, you can look at academics like, oh, she's demonic. She's doing this. She's doing that. Like they're pulling up everything out the book to make her look bad. But it's like now they're on the same shit. That's why like whenever there's like an issue where it's like men versus women, I'm never going to be like, because obviously like The way men just responded to the Halle accusing DDG was a problem. But I'm never going to sit here and be like, okay, this is a man's problem. Men doing this is a problem, because women do the exact same thing. Again, like that girl said up here, Halle could have done anything and she would not have cared. So now it's like nobody can put any faith in the arguments you're making, because you've made it clear that your morals aren't really on the side of what's right or wrong. It's on the side of what the woman has done, period. And again, it's just every excuse being made in the book for those texts when those texts aren't okay. And I'm not gonna lie, they're saying Halle ruined her career. I don't know if she ruined her career, but there are absolutely people who are gonna want to stay away from her. There are people who probably want to stay away from her just because she was with DDG. But now the fact that like there's a whole back and forth thing, I feel like a lot of things might not go the best for her, just because a lot of industry things, like especially in her, like she's on the much, let's just say, cleaner side of the industry. Like she's the Little Mermaid, all that. Those kind of industries do not want drama like this. So she genuinely might have fucked things up. But the thing is, that's another reason why when people just accused her of lying out the gate, I didn't really get it, because I'm like, she kind of has a lot to lose from this situation if she is lying, even if she's not lying, right? Like if she is like just saying this just to say it, it very much has a negative impact on her life regardless. And again, think about the child throughout all this. But yeah, anyways, it's a nuanced issue. Okay, my final take on the issue overall is there are things about both parties that look pretty bad. There are a lot of people making excuses for DDG. There are a lot of people making excuses for Halle. I feel like we haven't seen any indisputable proof of anything either of them are saying, but we also haven't seen indisputable proof that either of them are lying, right? So this is why, again, we have to stay in the middle. But we should acknowledge, again, DDG, the restraining order being granted, the evidence, that's not a good look. However, these texts, like, yes, it may be postpartum. Yes, mental illness is like a thing. That also doesn't look good for Halle, right? And they both posted various wounds. Doesn't look good for either of them. This is just... This is not the situation where there's a right side and there's a wrong side, right? We simply don't know enough for that to be the case. And of course, they're going to push the notion, especially like, nowadays on the internet, it's going to be like, oh, if you don't believe her, like if you believe anything DDG says, if you don't side with her completely, you're the worst person in the world. But in reality, we should, again, respect what she's saying the same way we respect what he's saying. Because again, there is no indisputable proof. But again, we need to wait for things like witness statements, if we ever get them, and that ring light footage. Like personally, I don't think we should go around like, cursing out either of these people yet, because we literally do not know. Like we simply don't know enough. I feel like a lot of people aren't comfortable admitting when we don't know enough. Like some like the Diddy situation, we know enough. We saw a video. Like, you know what I mean? Like him versus Cassie, we saw that shit. Like that right there, indisputable evidence, right? That's not just an allegation. Whoops. Oh my gosh. I thought I paused. I thought I paused again. There's no debate there, okay? But my thing is, until we get this ruling, I think we should withhold any sort of harsh judgment for either person. Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, and I don't know if that was the court date supposed to be today. But anyways, when the shit comes out, I feel like it's going to become abundantly clear who did what, who didn't do what. But I feel like the responsible thing to do is acknowledge that we're at a point right now where it does not look good for either of them, okay? And it's okay to admit that. Like, it's okay. Like, you can be a man and say that you don't believe Halle is a demonic liar who's, just making all this up out the blue. You can be a woman and say, hey, well, I don't know if these texts, they simply don't look good for Halle's favor. And again, I want to support people who it feels like they're victims. However, before I literally bring the hammer down on either of these people, I want to know what's going on. I want more information. Okay. But a lot of people seem very like quick to, and you don't gotta do all that, bro. Like, it's okay. But anyways, that is the video. Sorry this one's so late today. It's such a weird phenomenon, bro. Like, I mean, I guess I didn't sleep last night, but I was thinking I was gonna take a nap at like, I don't know, it was like 10 or 11. And when I tell you, because I post my TikToks like hour after hour after hour, right? So literally for like those 7-8 hours, I would be asleep, alarm would go off, post TikTok, alarm, sleep, TikTok. You know what I mean? Basically, it was the same cycle, bro. I don't know how it happened. But anyways, I'm glad that I got to get this video out to you today. I'm going to be on stream, and I'm going to remember to put that in the description. But obviously, I don't have a lot of time for State of Affairs today. But thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, everything I have to say. I'm so sorry, and I love you. Okay, have a great day, night, evening, morning.